Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alyssa. I'm a vocalist, vocal coach, just coming on here with some great tips and tricks for all of my fellow singers out there. So today we're going to be talking about working and performing at amusement parks, theme parks, any type of family-friendly centered environment. If you've performed at one of those places, you know exactly how much fun it can be. And if you haven't, and if maybe that's something that you're considering, this video is for you. We're going to talk about kind of some of the pros and cons, talk about what are the options, like what type of jobs for performers are at theme parks and amusement parks. And I'm also going to touch on a little bit of my experience working in theme parks. I've worked actually at 3 different amusement parks over the years throughout my career, and I've had some great experiences, some great insights, and a lot to share. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Before we jump into the video, I want to make sure that you are subscribed to the channel because I'm trying to grow, trying to get a lot of people here so we can talk about all of the things, singing, about making money, about performing and working as an artist. Let's grow this community as much as we can. So go ahead and subscribe. I also want you to hit the notification bell so that way you never miss an upload. Like this video if you like it at the end as well. And let's just get right into it. So as a performer, we are a part of people's most special memories. We're a part of people's nostalgia. We're a part of people's special moments with their friends and their family, their happy times, their vacations, like all of the places and the times that they're in the best mood and they're feeling so good and they've got all this high energy, right? So that's being on a cruise or being at a wedding or being, going to Disneyland or something. And being a performer at one of these places really enhances the experience. So that's why being a performer at a theme park or an amusement park is really fun. It's really special. It's one of those really, really unique jobs because even as a grown adult, you get to go every day and just play, and you get to be around the environment of play. And I know that obviously theme parks and amusement parks are for people of all ages, but as you know, a lot of times it's families, it's people with young kids, or sometimes it's young adults. You just kind of get the whole range of people that are there, but it's always really fun and really special, especially in my opinion, to perform like for families and young people. And it's just kind of like a rich experience. At least that's been kind of my perspective of it. If you've ever been, which I'm sure you have, maybe you've seen some performance or some show or some parade that really was memorable to you. One of the tickets to an amusement park is not cheap. So when they go there, they're looking for that sort of enjoyment, and it's really special, and it's a privilege to be able to bring that enjoyment to others through a job like that. So the first thing I wanted to talk about in this video is what type of jobs there are for performers at amusement and theme parks. There's kind of an unlimited amount of jobs and roles for performers at theme parks, and that's because the shows and the productions, the parades are always changing. They're always adding new programming. They're always adding new events or adding new special things for holidays. So there's always going to be some new role or some new thing to do. But in general, there's jobs as a singer, a dancer, a stunt performer, a costume character. There are some acting and improv type shows. I know in particular at Universal Studios, they have a part where they have like street performers that are doing like freestyling, or they're doing comedy, like the barbershop quartets, the singers and performers that are out in a group and they might do a scene, they might do a cappella singing, they might do character acting where they come out in a character. And I'm sure you've seen like videos of people on social media where they're dressed as like the, for example, Disney princess character, and they're interacting with the kids in character. So there's some acting element to that. I've seen acrobats, stilt walkers. The possibilities are truly endless. Of course, because we are on the Six Figure Singer channel, talking about singing jobs, you could be a singing costume character. You could be a performer in a show that's based around a certain theme or a certain movie or something, but you're featured as a singer. Sometimes they have original shows that that feature singers and dancers, or they're doing both, or they're singing in a parade. Like, there's every single combination that you can think of. So that's a good thing as a performer if you're thinking about, oh, I think I want to perform at like an amusement park or a theme park, but I'm not sure exactly what I would do because I'm multi-talented and I know how to do multiple things. Well, that's good because there are multiple things that you could be doing at an amusement park job. So let's go over 5 things to remember if you want to work in an amusement park or a theme park as a singer or a performer. These are just 5 main things that I'd like to share about my experience. If you have any experiences, of course, make sure you put those down there in the comments. But these are just my main 5. So the first thing is a good thing, actually. It's a positive. As I said before, you get to perform to families. You get to a lot of times perform for kids, and that's just a good feeling, like the excitement, the wide-eyed nature of kids that are seeing their favorite character, or they're seeing people performing while they're having a great day in the park. That is really rewarding. I can't even lie. I love it. Like, I love kids anyway, but even if you're like, oh, I don't necessarily love kids, it's just fun to be out there performing to families and people that are really excited to be there because, side note, if you are also a performer in other environments, you know what it's like to not always have a responsive audience or an audience that's like, really cares what you're doing. And so it's kind of amazing because when you're already there and you're at a theme park, you're there in the afternoon and everyone's having a good time, like automatically you know they're going to be a great audience, and that energy feeds back to you, which then helps you have a better performance, and it's just a good feeling all around. And another part of that, something that goes hand in hand with that, is that you actually get to dress up and be a character and sort of connect with your inner child on the daily or whenever you come into work, because there's that youthfulness in the air, that fun nature of just everyone being around and being in a good mood and being happy to be there. So another thing I want to note about working at a theme park or an amusement park, which is really important, is that a lot of these theme parks, they really take care of their performers and of their employees, because a lot of those jobs, not all of them, some might be seasonal or temporary, like 1099 contract work. That's usually like for the seasonal type of roles, but there are a lot of jobs, I would even say the majority of the jobs at theme parks and amusement parks, you're going to be a regular W-2 employee. That means that you will have access to those things like retirement benefits, time off, insurance benefits, and things like that. And so these companies, Disney and Universal, these huge corporations, you know, of course they take care of their employees, as they should. And so that's a really good thing to keep in mind when you do perform, or if you do get a job at one of these types of places, they will take care of you as their employee. And so I know a lot of the work that we do as performers is like the one-offs, the contract work or the 1099 work. And as I said, that is a possibility as well for certain more like short-term seasonal contracts. But for the ongoing shows, the character performers, the shows that are a fixture there at the park, and you're there and like, let's say you're full-time, meaning you're doing like however many days a week, they will take care of you as their employee. So that's something to look into, and it's definitely a benefit to working at one of the amusement parks. And in addition to receiving like benefits like a regular employee, there's also a lot of things that you receive like perks wise when you work at one of these places, because there is like a community there. And so there's food, there's like a cafeteria, like a lunch area, of course, like there when you take your breaks. But what I love about a lot of the places, at least all the places that I've worked, is that the cafeteria there for performers and for employees, not just for performers, but for employees, whoever's working there, they have food that, if you have to pay for it, but it's really, really well priced. Maybe it's not the same food that like they give to the guests in the park, but for example, you can go to work and get lunch for like under $5, like really cheap food. There's also physical therapists there, so depending on like what show you're in, especially if it's very like physical and taxing. I know when I worked at SeaWorld, they had a physical therapist coming in like I think like twice a week to do sports massage or to do physical therapy for people, to help us keep our bodies intact, keep our bodies in shape. And that's something that's funded and provided for by the company. And that's such a perk. I think that's such a benefit for companies to take care of their employees like that. So that's another big benefit. Another great thing that I loved about working at an amusement park and at theme parks in general is that once you get hired and once you're kind of in the loop and you book a job doing a show or performing at a theme park, it's actually really easy to keep getting rehired because you're already in the mix. They already know you. Even if you do have to re-audition, the casting directors, the choreographers, the people that you worked with, they already know you. And so when there's a new show at a different part of the park, maybe you may not even have to audition because they might know you and they might say you're great for this role. So there's kind of like an internal sort of network, and it's really great to have a connection to that by already working in that environment. So that's something to consider too, is that once you're already kind of in the mix, it's easy to get rehired whether or not you have to re-audition. Lord knows how hard it is to sometimes have to think, okay, well, once one show ends, if it's a seasonal thing, it's like, okay, well, what's my next show going to be? What's the next thing? And I mean, that's the great thing about theme parks. It's always going to be, there's always something seasonal going on. There's always something going on that you might be great for. I know so many people that have worked for Disney or any park. They've been doing the shows for years. And every time a new show pops up, it's like, oh yeah, I'm doing that one too, because they already know me and they know that I'm fabulous. So they rehired me. Okay, so I want to talk about the drawbacks. And honestly, for this video, I could really only think of one. Okay, maybe two. But let's talk about maybe some things that may not be so pleasant about working at the amusement parks is that sometimes you have to do multiple shows in a day, because think about it, you're at the theme park that's open from 9 a.m. to like 11 p.m. I don't know, maybe that's an exaggeration, but they're open all day and they've got hundreds and thousands of people coming through. They're going to want to have access to that show all day. So if you're a performer in one of those shows, it's very likely that you will have to do the show 5 times a day, 4 times a day. You might have to be outside and back in costume and coming back outside. So the days can be long. They can be grueling. They can be a lot of work. So I know when I was working at, I think actually all the theme parks I worked at, I had multiple shows a day. I think the one that I did that was seasonal, it was like 2 shows a day. But when I worked at Disney, I was doing 5 shows a day, and it was a lot. It's a lot on your body, it's a lot on your voice, and this goes hand in hand with the other thing I was going to say that's might be a drawback for some people, is that you have to perform outside. A lot of the time, maybe not every time, because a lot of theaters are covered, and then especially the theme parks in Florida, it'll rain and then it'll be sunny like 2 hours later. So they have to be prepared for inclement weather. But you as a performer also have to be prepared for inclement weather. It's a change of costume, or maybe it's just really hot. So you have to find ways to be able to take care of yourself and take care of your voice in weather that is not always going to be consistent. I know that working in the heat is a challenge. Okay, working in the cold is a challenge. So just anything where you have to work outside in different weather, keep that in mind. That could be kind of hard. When I think of things like Halloween Horror Nights, the scare actors that are working late at night, I mean, obviously they're going to be zombies and stuff. They're playing these like scary, characters, and they're in the dark, and it's at night and it's cold. There are some environmental things that might be drawbacks for some people about working in a theme park or an amusement park. Okay, so now I'll talk a little bit about my experience performing in theme parks and amusement parks over the years. As I said, I worked in 3 different parks, all in California. It was many years ago, but I definitely cherish the time that I was there, and I think it was really good for my career. It was a great thing for me to do on my trajectory, on my career path, not only for the networking aspect, but just the getting the hours in of performing. Like I said, 5 shows a day, getting my stamina up. Working in theme parks was really great for that. The money was good. I never had any complaints. It was something I kind of always wanted to do. So when I was in college for undergrad, I was, getting interested in auditioning and wanting to work at Universal Studios or Disneyland or just like some of the theme parks, because I lived in Southern California, by the way. Yeah, so I lived in LA. And so when I was in school and living in LA, I was kind of here and there doing some auditions. I had a friend that worked at Disneyland Paris. I had a friend that worked at Universal. A lot of my friends who were singers and dancers were already either auditioning or had gotten like a few gigs working at theme parks. So I always thought that was really cool, and I kind of wanted to do it. I wanted to be a part of it. So I spent a couple months auditioning, and then I eventually got my first, and I think this was actually like my first professional singing job ever, like right out of college. I got the opportunity to work at SeaWorld as a costume character performer, but I was also a singer. So we did like an a cappella like street show for a Halloween spooktacular. So we were all different characters, like marine costume characters, so like starfish or jellyfish or like different like mermaids and like different things. I'll try to find some pictures and insert them, but that was one of my first experiences working at a theme park, and that was a lot of fun. So long ago now that I'm like, oh my God, I'm trying to remember some things about it. It's kind of like a different lifetime. Fast forward maybe a year or so, I want to say this was maybe 1 year after that, I'd actually auditioned and got a role working at Knott's Berry Farm, which is another theme park in California. Their characters are like the Peanuts, like Charlie Brown. And the whole theme of Knott's Berry Farm is like a berry farm. And so they have like a berry festival every year. It's really interesting. But the show that I did, it was like singers and dancers. And we were in the park with the Peanuts, like with the big costume characters, doing songs, like pop songs, different versions of songs. And it was a lot of fun. And I actually did that the first year that it came out, and then the next year, as I said, easy to get rehired. The next year, actually, they asked me to come back and like, oh, can you do it again? And I came to the audition, as a formality, but they were like, yeah, you're in, come do it. So I did that twice. The cafeteria there, I always just remember, because we would be there the whole day doing shows, be like, oh my God, I'm so hungry, go in there and like get food, and it would cost like $1.50. So I loved actually working there. That was like so much fun. I got to dance and sing with some friends that I'm still friends with to this day, and that was like 10 years ago. That was a long time ago, but that was a really fun job. And last but not least, my favorite theme park / amusement park job that I ever did was when I did my dream role playing Princess Tiana at Disneyland. I was in the show Mickey and the Magical Map, which was one of my dream shows for a long time. When that show first came out, actually, I auditioned for the first cast. I didn't get it. Got down to like the last couple of girls at the audition. It was like between myself and like another girl, and she ended up getting it and doing the show and whatever. And then I think I auditioned again like a couple years later. Like I always wanted to do that show, because when Princess and the Frog came out, myself, just like everybody else, especially us Black girls that love Disney and love princesses, like we love that character. We love Princess Tiana, Princess and the Frog, that whole story. I was like, I gotta get this job. Like I loved it. I loved the costume. It was so fun. And fast forward to 2016, I went back, I auditioned, and I finally got it. It was my dream role at Fantasyland Theater, and I'll never forget. It was a really, really fun experience. I mean, working at Disney is so much fun. Going to Disney is so much fun. So being able to work there was like another level. I got to have guest passes. Disney's so great about that. Letting the employees that work there, letting them bring their friends and family in, because them tickets are not cheap, right? So I never mind that, because I'm like, shoot, like if one of my friends or family works at Disney and like they can give me tickets, I'm not going to hesitate and hold back. And a lot of my friends and family didn't, especially because they wanted to see me in the show and I wanted them to see me. So I had a lot of people come see me. I got to ride a lot of the brand new rides that came out. It was a great experience and a great time. And like I said, it's something that really affected my career in a good way. It's something that I would recommend to singers and performers out there that are interested in some consistent work or even some seasonal work. There's such a variety of options, such a variety of different different types of jobs, different types of performance jobs across the board when it comes to all theme parks and amusement parks. All right, guys, so that's going to do it for this video. Let me know in the comments if you've ever worked at a theme park or an amusement park as a performer, singer, costume character, anything, and let me know what that experience was like for you. And then on the other hand, if you never have and you found this video and you're kind of like, this is giving me some ideas, like I might want to try that, I might want to get some insight, let me know in the comments if that's something that's interesting to you. And as always, guys, I am a vocalist and a vocal coach, so I'm here to help. If you have questions about any of this kind of stuff, if you're an aspiring singer, if you're already an established singer and you've got questions, some stuff is like unclear, definitely reach out to me because I help singers with this kind of stuff all the time. My goal really is to connect singers with opportunities and networks and like things that can help them, because we're all out here trying to show our talent, we're all out here trying to perform, but we also want to make money and we want to find some efficient ways to do that. So if that sounds like something you're interested in or curious about, make sure you reach out to me. Follow me on all my social medias, and my website is all in the description box. Let me know, guys, what you thought about this video in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.